What's up, Reject Nation? Happy Monday to you. I read the title for this video, and I'm gonna start off with this. I'm hoping it's true. I'm really hoping it's true. I'm just gonna start there.
I am too.
How's it going, everybody? It's Warren. Welcome back to my channel, The Cosmic Wonder, where we talk all things Marvel and everything relating to the Marvel Cinematic Universe. And today we're still talking about Spider-Man 3.
We're going to be for a long time.
About the upcoming MCU.
Long time we'll be talking about
it. Now. And with the film officially starting filming, hopefully it's like that for a long time now. But today we have something,
especially for your channel, Warren, and ours.
Something that's coming not from a scooper or an inside source, but rather a leaked audition tape that is been taken down from multiple websites already, which usually means that it's a very legitimate video.
Oh!
What was on it, and
that's true though.
Yeah,
it usually does mean
if they want to cover it up.
A huge spoiler for one of the Spider-Man that we'll see in the film. So if you're trying to avoid any and all spoilers for the upcoming Spider-Man 3 that's going to take place in the MCU, this may not be the video.
Not us.
And you should click away now.
We'll see.
And before we get started, big congratulations
I'll probably
to
forget.
Joe Carcella for being last week's winner of the Iron Spider Funko Pop. Just email me in the email in my description and I'll get you your prize. And since so many people love this Iron Spider, I'll be giving it away again this week. Just subscribe, like the video, and comment down below. So the video has since been deleted, which is kind of always a good sign because it usually confirms that it's real. But luckily for us, MurphysMultiverse.com posted a description on their website of everything that was in this leaked audition tape. Now, disclaimer, this audition tape is believed to be for Miles Morales for Spider-Man 3, but it is not confirmed to be that officially. But as you'll see, it looks pretty obvious that it is. The audition video is a two-part video, and the first part begins with a young African-American man out delivering food for what appeared to be his parents' restaurant. The young man is stopped by the NYPD because he is wearing some sort of Spider-Man gear. When questioned by the police, he states he's a fan of Spidey, but it's clear that in whatever universe this takes place, being a fan of Spidey is not okay.
Yeah,
and this clearly seems to pick up right after the events of Spider-Man Far From Home, where Peter Parker's identity is revealed, everybody knows he's Spider-Man, and Mysterio framed him. So everybody thinks he's a murderer. So clearly now in the MCU, being a fan of Spider-Man isn't really a good thing.
Yeah,
you're essentially supporting somebody that most people think is a criminal. So that would explain why the NYPD stops this young man who is wearing Spider-Man clothes.
And especially a young black man wearing Spider-Man
clothes. Of this audition tape. In the first part of the video, we see the young man again in a conversation with his father and then what is believed to be his cousin. When talking to the second person, believed to be his cousin, a breaking news report airs on the television indicating that the costumed hero Spider-Man has been found dead at the museum. Now this is severely interesting because if this is in fact a Spider-Man 3 audition video, it seems like Spider-Man is going to die. The only question is, which Spider-Man?
No.
Hard time that Marvel
Tom Holland.
And Sony are going to
just gonna
kill
give it
off
back
Tom
to
Holland's
Tobey Maguire.
Could be a temporary death.
The MCU. He's very loved by all of the fans. Sony loves him and Marvel loves him. So I really doubt that they're going to kill him off. But there are many different possibilities of what could be happening here. And in a movie where multiple Spider-Man are rumored and reported to appear in, there is always the possibility that one Spider-Man may in fact die. So there really are a few different options here.
Right.
The top ones that I think could be happening. For starters, I'll say that they could kill Tom Holland and then replace him with Miles Morales. This is absolutely absurd. I do not think this is going to happen, but I guess it's an option. But in more realistic options, this could be a Spider-Man that is dead in another universe. Now, we assume that this character that is being auditioned for, the young African-American man, is Miles Morales. And they could be doing something similar to what they did in Into the Spider-Verse, where Peter Parker dies and then Miles Morales takes on the mantle. But, of course, in a movie where they're exploring the multiverse, he could go into a different universe. And that's how we could get into the main Tom Holland MCU universe. Now, as far as which Spider-Man actually actually dies in this universe, well, depends on what universe they're in. But with rumors of Andrew Garfield and Tobey Maguire reprising their Spider-Man roles, it could be one of their two universes. So we could get Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man from the Sam Raimi universe, where he's still with MJ. Harry Osborn is dead, but presumably Spider-Man is still out
Would they
there
put that in
fighting
the
crime.
audition,
And so
though?
an unfortunate
It seems,
incident
yeah,
happens
like
and
kind of a
Spider-Man
specific
dies.
big
And of course, the
moment.
other option is Andrew Garfield's Spider-Man from the Amazing Spider-Man universe. Now, this would tie the MCU to the Amazing Spider-Man universe, which has already technically been done and confirmed. Jamie Foxx's Electro is going to be in Spider-Man 3. So there's definitely a big possibility that this could be Andrew Garfield's Spider-Man, since Electro is already heading to our main universe. But an alternate edition of this theory slash a part 2
Andrew
could be
Garfield
that Tom
gets killed on-
Holland's Spider-Man actually gets sent to Andrew Garfield's Amazing Spider-Man universe. Peter is obviously in big trouble.
more
this film
likely.
universe. He's clearly going to be wanted by the law. Perhaps Doctor Strange sends him to a different universe to get away for a little bit. And in this universe, Peter Parker has just died. There is no more Spider-Man, but he can train and teach Miles Morales to be the next Spider-Man.
Oh, he's
Two
the
pretty cool
mentor.
options that we could see happening, especially because Andrew Garfield's Spider-Man isn't exactly everybody's favorite Spider-Man. They could choose to kill his Spider-Man off. However, let's remember that Miles Morales actually does exist in Tom Holland's Spider-Man MCU universe. In Spider-Man Homecoming, Donald Glover, aka Childish Gambino, played Miles Morales' uncle. And he mentions
Aaron.
Miles, confirming that he does exist in the MCU. But that would mean a Spider-Man in the main MCU timeline would have to die.
I wonder if they'll bring the Prowler in here.
Necessarily
say.
mean that Tom Holland's Peter Parker has to die. This could be the work of Doctor Strange. It has been confirmed that Doctor Strange is going to take on the role of Peter Parker's mentor in Spider-Man 3. Now, obviously, Peter is in a lot of trouble in the main MCU timeline, and perhaps a way to get him out of this trouble is to fake his death, which is something that has kind of happened in the comics before between Peter Parker and Doctor Strange. And if you think about it, this would be a pretty good solution to Peter Parker's problem. If they fake Peter Parker's death, whether that be by an illusion or Doctor Strange pulling his soul out of his body briefly to convince people that he's dead, nobody would really be after Peter
These are some
Parker
pretty
anymore, because
great
that
theories,
man
man.
is dead.
Yeah, seriously.
And since Spider-Man's identity has been revealed to be Peter Parker, everybody would think Spider-Man is dead as well. And now Peter Parker only has to change how he looks just a little bit, get a new identity, which probably won't be
plastic
too hard
surgery.
considering he knows Nick Fury, and he can go about a relatively normal life, continuing to be an Avenger and trying to finish high school. Since Doctor Strange is involved, this could be a way that we go about seeing Spider-Man die. But of course, there is the possibility that Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man and Andrew Garfield's Spider-Man do end up in the main MCU timeline, and one of them die. Now, this still does solve Peter Parker's problem. If Tobey or Andrew died as Spider-Man, of course they would unmask him and realize that, hey, this Peter
That's
Parker
not Tom
kid
Holland.
isn't
Yeah.
Spider-Man.
Yeah.
This other random guy is clearly
Yeah,
Spider-Man.
yeah, that
And
was the
now
whole
all of a
thing I was
sudden,
thinking the whole
Parker
time.
is clearly off the hook. And technically, they could even say that it is Peter Parker that is Spider-Man, just a different Peter Parker. And then the last and final option is that this could be a post-credit scene for Spider-Man 3. This could be the setup for Miles Morales to eventually come into the Marvel Cinematic Universe. A lot of people are saying that it's kind of too soon to bring in Miles, since him and Tom Holland's Spider-Man are very similar to each other. So perhaps he's not coming this movie, but could be coming in the future, and the very end of this film sets it up to where in his universe, the Spider-Man dies and he is going to become the new Spider-Man. Now, considering the fact that there is a rumor going around that says Miles Morales has actually already been cast for the Spider-Man 3, I'd probably say this is definitely the least likely. Well, besides Tom Holland's Spider-Man actually dying. But it's still definitely a possibility.
I
But
would
which one of
prefer
these do you think is most likely to happen?
I
And do
prefer
you
it as a
have
post-credit
theory of
scene.
your own? Be sure to subscribe so you don't miss out on any of the latest Spider-Man news and theories, and be sure to let me know what you think is going to happen in the comments down below. Don't forget to give this video a like, and for live updates, you can follow me on Instagram and Twitter. As always, thank you all so much for watching. Woof woof.
Then again, if it was an audition for a post-credit scene, I just don't see them doing that. You
I feel
know,
like they would
I don't
just
think they
give
would.
you like a bit scene to do that isn't specific to the movie.
I feel like for characters like Miles Morales, especially, it would be just like a couple of actors they would be approaching for it. Just a solid handful where they could have an extremely private. I don't know. I've never been able to access anything that's supposed to be top secret in the Hollywood world. So I don't know how people are able to grab this stuff, but the main thing that makes it believable is the fact that they've been pulling it off of the internet, and that's usually a sign that, oh crap, they found something that's important. Because usually if it's not, they're like, yeah, whatever, just let it be, let them ruminate.
Well, maybe it's just a completely legitimate scene featuring a featured extra.
Yeah.
And they just don't want that out there either.
So if this is real, if this is a real audition that was going around, like it doesn't specify Miles Morales, it's saying young African-American man. I think it's safe to assume that it's Miles Morales based off of the amount of speculation. Sony's still involved with the Spider-Man movie. Spider-Verse was a big success. Miles Morales is a lot more popular in the zeitgeist now more than ever. It would just make sense that it's Miles Morales.
There aren't that many other black characters it could be.
Yeah, especially the one to give like an important scene, because this sounds like a scene that has some type of weight or impact and does seem in tune with the Miles Morales origin. So I'm cool with it. It does raise the eyebrow of, okay, if Spider-Man is being reported dead, you do take the mask off. Yeah, you would see that that's not Tom Holland's face, and at the end of Far From Home, not only does it say that Spider-Man killed Mysterio, but it also shows Tom Holland's face. So everyone would be like, well, that's not Peter Parker. Maybe it's from a different Spider-Verse. It could be the one that Sony is developing. Marvel's leading this one, though, right? This is the one that Marvel's leading.
Yeah, at least for the production of this film, yeah, from what I've been reading.
Yeah. I could see it being set up for maybe, like, I guess the question then becomes, will Miles Morales be that Sony adjacent to MCU live action film, or will it be Miles Morales inside of the MCU? Either way, it would be cool to set him up, but I do agree with the point that Tom Holland's still in high school. He's still a young kid. I mean, if we really want to go with the comics, you would want to wait a while, obviously, for him to be older, be an actual adult Peter Parker. But then you could kind of play it a little loose. You could have some free reign here. Why not get another Miles Morales in here? Let's do this.
Yeah, I mean, I thought the idea of him being like a mentor in an alternate universe where, like an Andrew Garfield Peter Parker had died or something was actually kind of an interesting idea, because they've made so much out of the mentors for Peter, and now having him pass that along could be interesting. Although, yeah, I do sort of agree that, especially with all the other stuff we've been talking about for this movie and how much of a multiverse they want to take advantage of, I feel like Miles Morales is a character that you would want to give a very big, distinct introduction toward. And yeah, teasing him at the end of something seems like a good idea, because, yeah, wherever he shows up, you're going to want him to have his big moment to, make a huge impression in a Spider-Man movie. And so being just another one of many, and also having to compete with, like, returning actors and other contexts and stuff like that, I can see, yeah, maybe this wouldn't be the time to full-on introduce him, especially with Sony talking about potentially, because of all these rumors of Andrew Garfield and Tobey Maguire not being verified, and now people are saying that maybe they want to give them their own movies instead of putting them in this movie. I can see a universe pretty soon where Sony probably just has a Spider-Verse that kind of overlaps with the MCU in certain coordinated ways, so maybe they want to do this all at once, but yeah, I don't know. This was just more than anything very interesting, and it got me excited for the fact that Miles Morales is definitely around the bend very soon.
Oh, yeah. I think they have, undoubtedly, they have plans to at least bring him in at some point, right? What I love, though, about it is if this is included in here, it's like you want everyone to get proper screen time, and with the amount that they're including in here, where you're like, okay, who's going to be actual characters, who's going to be cameos, Like Doctor Strange seems to be confirmed to be an actual character in here, not just a cameo. Whereas Electro, the way at least the news broke, sounded like he's an actual character in here.
Not Blue.
But with Miles Morales, I don't mind like teasing him a little bit and setting him up. Like the MCU is one of the rare franchises where I feel like I can be content with, yeah, that's just for something to set up for the future. But what I love about it in terms of character development for Miles Morales and introducing him is that this is the movie where the world is hating Spider-Man right now. The world views him as a murderer, yet Miles Morales does not view him that way. He thinks he's still a hero, so maybe there was some encounter earlier that they had in the movie that we don't know about where Peter Parker saved him or something like that. He still views him as a hero despite the fact that he's this wanted fugitive that they're obviously aiming to gun down or kill, as based off of that news report scene, And for all we know, this could just be something written up.
Yeah, it could
just for the audition.
Contrived scene. Totally,
just so they could have something to audition people with, but not something that's actually a part of the script itself. But I
Yeah.
love the news that they've been taking it off the internet. That's usually a
Yeah.
good sign. Yeah.
It's significant in some way, shape, or form. And the last thing I thought of, and actually you pointed out during the reaction, is I guess I don't want them to rush it too, because I feel like they set something pretty nice up with having Aaron Davis and the promise of a potential Prowler presence with Donald Glover. And Donald Glover is a notable person I feel like you wouldn't want to just rush past.
Yeah.
So I feel like if they can, work a way in to have Miles Morales and him kind of return, that could also be cool. So I don't want them to rush that in favor of just having a big old multiverse salad.
Yeah, especially because of Spider-Man 3.
Yeah, exactly. It's like
like,
reaching
let's not do this again, guys.
Yeah.
You
It's
know?
like the Garfields didn't even make it to 3. Let's make sure we stick a Spider-Man 3 the first time anyone's ever done that.
Yeah,
You know?
and I think if they do kill, the last thing I'll say is if they do kill off a Spider-Man, if it's gonna be Garfield or Maguire, I would prefer it to be Tobey Maguire, so that way he can have some proper send-off that he honestly deserved it. There's something about the Garfield one where I'm like, just whatever, just drop it. But Tobey Maguire one was such an important part of comic book film adaptation history, and it had such an impact. That's one that I feel like people have wanted it to properly conclude. So maybe do that. At the same time, though, if they are gonna kill, let's say that is true, I don't think it's gonna be Andrew Garfield or Tobey Maguire. I think it's gonna be some other random Spider-Man. Yeah.
Peter Parker's gonna leave his MCU universe, and then Bully Maguire's gonna take his place and live the rest of his days out as a jazz-loving Pete.
Ooh. All right, guys. Well, Cosmic Wonder, thanks for putting this video together, buddy. Always staying up to date on the latest scoops. Love you, dude. Subscribe to Cosmic Wonder if you haven't done so already. Subscribe to The Real Rejects. Would really appreciate it if you could hit that like button as well. Catch you guys soon. Hear there's a Mandalorian trailer tonight. I'm gonna wear this shirt all day now.